So good morning. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, after the ad break. Yours truly, Courtney Prince Quincy, officially. As I look at the Supreme FM clock, if you are 99.8, you should be coming across right now to the YouTube channel. But like I said, we believe in freedom of choice right here. So you can listen to us on the FM, or you can listen to us on the Quincy's Presents YouTube channel. And also we are streaming live via the Facebook Quincy's Presents as well on the Facebook. All you got to do is click the link, and all we ask you to do is like, share, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you guys to subscribe to the channel. We've got up to 300 subscribers. We are looking at least minimum 500 by, let me see now, March. You saying 200 by March? We could do that. That should be the goal. Extra 200 subscribers by the end of March, and you can visit various other conversations I've had on the channel on Extra Time Friday and various other platforms as well. But it's that time now. It is after 11 o'clock. And you know what we do on a Monday from 11. Big shout out to everybody who got involved in the first hour of the show. Where's my co-host? Our Denise. Where you at, Our Denise? Where you at?
I'm here, honey.
I'm liking the hat wear today, girl. I like that's a very much. All you need is that, the cane and a pair of like little tap shoes, and you could be on stage.
I don't get it. No, not really, Jack.
Yeah, I'm liking that. I
like it. So let me just tell you what this is about, right? Okay. So first of all, good morning, everybody. Hope people had a fantastic weekend. You had a good weekend. I heard last night's show was brilliant.
Do you know what? It still freaks me out that how you can be on stage or be somewhere, and then someone can tell you you was wearing this or you said this. So yeah. So when you messaged me, I was literally still coming down from being on stage. So was it
seriously? So, I got messages asking me why didn't I come? Why didn't I turn up? Blah, 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 blah. It was a really good night. Da, da, da. And you were brilliant.
Yeah, no. All power to them. Was it put in a group, or was it just set to you personally?
Sent me personal, darling. I'm all about the DMs.
This is why when I go out, I walk good. I walk with Jack Jones, because you don't know. People are watching. You don't know. It's like we talk about Big Brother, but sometimes as people, we are our own Big Brother.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You know what? Let me see my man with the next and him each up and no, not on
exactly. And I heard Donnie was really good. Did I notice that you're going to be interviewing him soon?
That was Friday.
Oh, that was Friday gone, so I didn't even know. Okay.
Yeah, that was Friday gone, but we're going to be, after I do the launch for Urban MBA, I will be going down there and performing for the man there as well. Yeah. So
I've got my camera. Sorry, I think I'm sorry, voice in my head. One moment. Am I centered?
You are centered. You are.
I'm centered.
Yeah. That's it. Stay with it. Stay with it. That's it. You're perfect now. Don't move there. Don't move there. Don't move. Okay. I know you've heard that. You've heard that moment before from a man. Don't move. Don't move. Don't.
Anyway, just really quickly, the reason why you're so wrong, and it's only Monday morning, the week hasn't even started. So the reason for the hat is because, ladies and gentlemen, I really do need some help, right? I've been entered into an all-female DJ competition. Yes, Our Denise, right? Okay. So it's friendly fire. So, some lady will get shot dead. It's that kind of thing. So I'm trying to get me style. Yeah. So it's going to be on the 23rd of February on the Mixcloud. So I'll let you know next week. Full details.
Yeah, please let us know. We're going to support Our Denise.
I need some support. So I'm just trying out different looks. So this is one of the hats. Now, it's not my hat, and I'm sure the owner of the hat is probably looking right now, and I'm sure in the next few minutes there'll be some commentary about the hat. But anyway, I'm just.
It's got that Dennis Al Capone kind of feel to it. I do the super cat, the Al Capone kind of feel. Yeah, it's all right. I like it.
Thank you.
I mean, and it goes with the glasses. I mean, you got one of them faces that glasses and hats suit you, regardless of which style is you've got that face. You know, some people got that face with just hats and glasses.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, you got that face. You're lucky. You're lucky.
Anyway, let's get back to business.
Yes.
The show started.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, this is what we do each and every Monday around this time, and we're looking forward to it to our guests. We do a police watch, and Denise has got a couple of gems for you. So like I said, it is an opportunity for us to recover stories, not old stories, but to let people know what is currently happening in the city we live as London, but we do cover outside of London as well, and then the relationship between the police and the communities up and down the country. We're not just here to cuss off the police, but they're not helping by doing the things they are doing, so to speak. And as the community, there are some members of our community that need to be called out. I won't regret saying that, but this is Police Watch, ladies and gentlemen. So what have you got first?
What have I got? Let me just. So I'm just thinking where to start. No, let's do a bit of light humor first.
Yes.
Voice in my head. Can you please show the first clip?
So the first clip, ladies and gentlemen, there's a story about. I just want the people to see this here and hear this. There's a story going on social media regarding two officers who are in a person's yard, and they are literally watching TV and they're touching everything in this person's yard. Okay. And the person is supposed to be missing. Right? Okay. So it's police officers caught on camera watching Netflix at a woman's yard. So you guys describe the video.
Okay, so the woman has gone missing. And obviously these police officers, this is actually Manchester Police Force. The police are in her home looking for her, whatever they're supposed to be doing. But she is on it's an emergency call, and they're actually in her apartment. Now, as you can see to your left, you can see a police officer using dumbbells. Yes, he's using the dumbbells that belong to the lady. Remember, she's missing. And it's 10 o'clock at night that they're in her house. Then there's another police officer there, and they're actually watching Netflix. Yes, you heard me. They're watching Netflix. So one guy there doing the dumbbells, the other ones there watching Netflix. And the woman, I think they leave the house round about after 1 a.m, I think it is. Now, bear in mind, so she comes home. Whatever happens, she's got some kind of mental health emergency, but she comes home around about 4 o'clock in the morning and plays back her home CCTV. And that's what she finds. So they're supposed to be looking for her, but they're in her house watching Netflix and using her dumbbells. Now, tell me, how would you feel about that? How would you feel? Quincy, how would you feel?
You got security cameras that you can talk so they can hear you as well. So yeah. If I would have spoken. I said, while you're in there, you're watching TV. Yeah, I'm expecting you not to at least do the dishes or do some kind of. But I'm paying my taxes for you guys, so do some work in my house, innit? Yeah. At least tidy it. At least move around a cushion or something. When I saw the body,
that's what you would say.
Do you know what got me? No, what got, I'll probably say what you're doing, but what got me is the fact of the guy chose Netflix. He didn't turn on the TV. He sat there, and you got to scroll through. He chose Netflix. Yeah,
I think that's so funny. I think if I was in the right frame of mind and could be humorous, I'd say, hello, chaps. I made a carrot cake. It's in cupboard. Help yourself, right? And I've got some Yorkshire tea bags in cupboard. Have a cup of tea. See you later. If I had a sense of humor, if I could be funny at that time, that's what, and I would love to say something like that to them.
Yeah.
On the loudspeaker, so that and then you see them jump up. You see the one with the dumbbell, drop it on his toe. Oh, that would be the best. Oh my gosh.
I would do some duppy voice. I'll do some duppy voice. Every now and again, I'll be like, get out.
But yeah, so that was just the humor part of things that have been going on. So yeah, I've just thought, these are the kind of things that are happening. And she's actually having a hard time with Manchester Police because they're not taking action. They've said they're going to speak to the officers because they haven't breached the standard conduct codes, apparently, I'm surprised. So they're not taking any action, but she is trying to pursue it currently. So that's that one.
Do you know what? It is a case of, right, if we take it from a serious note now. So this lady's missing. She's it's reported that she's got mental health.
Yeah.
They're in her house. Obviously, I'm assuming you're in that person's house to find out any kind of clues.
Yes. Yeah.
Find out her whereabouts. So how would you feel then if they're in your house and they're searching up stuff? That will make sense, because they say, well, I'm looking for any kind of evidence which I could use to find out this woman's whereabouts, or anybody we can contact to let them know that this woman's missing. So
Netflix? On Netflix? On Netflix?
No. If they weren't doing Netflix, yeah. You know what I mean? So in that case, it's kind of difficult. Like, you're in that house for all that period of time. They could have just waited in the car.
Yeah.
They could have waited in the car outside the house for a period of time. So for me, it's not a good look. And I don't think it's a sackable offence. I think that they should be reprimanded, but I don't think it's a sackable offence. I think that it is sometimes you've got to use common sense, and I think that those officers they look young, a little bit naive. I think that do some desk duties, do something, but I don't think it's a sackable offence.
Yeah. Well, clearly. Well, I mean, and that's what the police are saying. But she's already upset. She feels violated, so she's pursuing it. So it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. So that was that case. There was another, the child, the one we're going to talk about later. I think we should wait for our guest to come on about that one, because that's the one that he's pushing through, the child one.
Yeah, I mean, can we see and show them the article and then bring him on?
Yeah. We could do that, because he's waiting.
Yeah. So just explain before you bring on our guest.
Yeah. So this one here, as it says quite clearly, you've got a situation where 8 Metropolitan Police officers have investigated after a black teen was stopped 6 times in 5 months. Yeah. So that is just absolutely horrifying. But the real things, these are things that are actually happening. So I think these guys have been suspended or I don't think they're on desk duty, but he's best person to actually come on and talk about it. So we've actually got a guest who's going to come in and fill in with some more details. But before we do that, there was one kind of horrible case. It's a young officer. Have we got anything on him? The 24-year-old officer?
No,
we haven't.
No, I think we're gonna come back to the young black guy.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna come, because that's an ongoing case, and that's not going not going anywhere for now. But yeah, we're definitely gonna highlight that. But just for the listeners and people who are watching, what information did you find out about that particular officer? Because he's done quite a few. He's been accused of some heinous crimes, of a sexual nature, kidnapping.
And some serious threats to the females that have been in his presence, handcuffing them and threatening them with fatal injuries if they don't basically do what he says. So it's a very horrible case. He's a 24-year-old black male. And so in this police watch, we are going to make sure that we do give balance. So there are there's wrong-uns everywhere. So, but obviously the majority of the wrong-uns are going to be different. But we'll talk about it when we've got some more information. I'm just a little bit concerned. The gentleman who's coming on says he's in. Is he? Sorry, can you see him in the studio? Is he there?
Yeah, we're about to bring on a gentleman.
The voice. He's just said he's not there. So he said he's there, but I don't know what link he's on it. He's just sent me a picture to show me he's there waiting. Ken Hinds, blah, blah, blah. So let me, it's the same link for everybody, isn't it, Quincy?
The same link career on, same link on. So you try and get out of our guests, and then we'll have a conversation. So we're waiting for Ken Hinds to come on. While he's coming on, ladies and gentlemen, we do this part of the show called Police Watch each and every Monday just after 11 o'clock. And it is a case just to highlight to people that we always hear stories regarding the police and the community, and from my perspective, it always gets blown up. It always gets blown up, and the emotions ride high, but we never hear like the duration of that particular complaint or the court proceedings. So myself and our Denise, what she does, she basically keeps people up to date for the best of our knowledge for the information which is out there to what happens, so we can deliver it to you, the listener and the viewer as well. So you can, I mean, it just gives people a feeling of, okay, we're not just talking about this and it's forgotten about, because I never ever want that to happen. And like I said, it is actually growing in momentum of this particular case. Is these cases are definitely more. All right, Supreme 99.8. We are on Quincy's Presents YouTube channel and also streaming live on Facebook. We encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel and watch previous interviews again. We have a couple of guests that who are going to be coming on today. Very much, and we encourage you, the listener and the viewer, to ask questions as well. If any pointers which they do bring up in the conversation, and it's not just about myself and our Denise having these conversations. It's about just as much as you, the listener, to get involved in the conversation, because the show is about you guys as well. You guys make the show. You guys make it as popular to what it is today. All right. 25 minutes, 25 minutes after the hour's 11. What we're going to do before we bring him on, Denise, just to say for the listeners, all right, when we go off for a break on the FM, we will be continuing this conversation. So if you want to get involved in the conversation, please come across to the Quincy's Presents YouTube channel. All right, let's bring in our guest, Denise. You want to introduce him?
I sure can. I'd like to welcome to our platform Mr. Ken Hinds. Hello, Ken.
Hey, how you doing, Denise?
I'm good, Ken. I got to say, you look like a totally different fella without your locks. You look like a totally, and there's one picture where you look like Shaft when you got that leather jacket on. Yeah, I'm like, check him out. Yeah, you look totally different. But hey, nice to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. You know, thank you very much for permit me onto your platform. I feel so humble and honored to be able in the presence of distinguished people like yourselves. Oh my God, it's a dream come true.
No, but great. But you do some great work, and yeah, we're really glad to have you here. But anyway, Quincy, say hi.
Hello, Ken. How you doing?
Quincy, top man. Thank you very much. I didn't put you into the introduction, but because I'm all about the ladies. But anyway,
100%, man. When you see one, let me know. Yeah.
Oh, geez. You have a queen right next to you. So come on. Let's not get it twisted.
No. She's our queen. She's our queen. Kane, I just want to ask you. Thank you for coming onto the platform. It's a pleasure. And you know what I like about this? You're coming on a platform which we all look the same, and we've all, in some circumstances, experienced our dealings with the police. So we have got an angle. When we talk about it, we're talking about it from our hearts. Compared to when we go on mainstream media, it's very much, I believe, it's soundbite. So my first question to you is, how important is it for people like yourself to come on platforms, black platforms, to speak about these issues?
I think it's essential to have people like myself who's not only got the lived experience and the consequence of that, but also have found ways of actually dealing with the demon that has come about from having those bad interaction going way back. Yes, so I go way back to the sus law, and the sus law. It was much easier to imprison people like me and you, okay? Because all it took was the word of 2 police officers to come to court and to say that I was about to go and steal something. It happened to me when I was 17 years old. I got my first criminal conviction from stealing from person or person unknown, meaning there was no victim. The police were able to go to court and said, we knew what was in my head. I was about to go and grab the bag or steal something from this bag, which never happened. But I got 6 weeks in a youth detention center. As an angry man, I became a nightmare in my community for the next 15 years. And all it did was got me deeper into the criminal justice system. I kind of succumb to their strength and my weaknesses. But as I said, to have a platform like this so I can share my stories, because my story is not unique. There's going to be hundreds, not thousands of other Black men who have gone through the similar or even worse. Okay. But the fact is, they haven't tuned in to their trauma and find tools to deal with it effectively, like I had to. I used to think that I was just violent as part of my makeup, but it wasn't. It was through certain traumas I went through. And you know what? You can't always fight fire with fire. And what it is, you need to have some sort of, what I say, intellectual sense to grow, to deal with it differently. I think Einstein said, if you keep doing the same thing and expect a different answer, a different response, then you must be the madman.
Okay.
So real, man. When he's gone.
Yeah, so I mean, there's quite a few questions that I. Oh gosh, 1 second. Let's tell this person I can't.
This is why we've got no black shows. Yeah, how professional. You don't see that on Good Morning Britain with the phone. I just hiring off.
Right, you are just such a wrong un. So.
I got this.
My phone on silent. You stop laughing at me. There's quite a few questions I want to ask Ken, but one of the reasons why we brought you on here is because I know you through Stop and Search as a monitoring lead person. And there's a specific case that's out in the media which you have helped the family bring to the fore. Do we call it Child A?
That's correct, yes.
Can you tell the audience about Child A, that story?
Quite simply this. I've known Charlie from he was about 5-6 years old. He's now 17. When I say known Charlie, I know Charlie A family. Me and his grandmother are good friends, tight, campaigners, activists. Okay, and what happened is that the grandmother, the mother said to the grandmother, "We need to get Ken on this, right? Get Ken because my son is fed up. He keeps going out there. He's keep getting violated by the police." So they got in touch with me. I heard this story, and let me tell you this much here. That child is, people said, well, he must be doing something wrong to get stopped 6 times in 5 months. Yes, what he did is where he's living in Tottenham. Now, as they're saying it's a high crime spot area. But see what the police can't distinguish between is the good guy and the bad guy. All they see is the black guy, and the suspicion heightens. Again, this young man is not of that life. Let me assure you. He's a person, he's into his books, he's into his electronics, and he's into his mum and grandmother. That's it. He does not go out to that degree other than ride his bike to go up and down the place. Even he got one stop was outside his mother's yard. When the mum said, because he was outside with some friend, when one friend fell off his bike, the friend came in to get some first aid from the mum inside the house. The mum sent this young child A out to get some plasters. On the way back, he got stopped by the police, okay, and accused of loitering outside his own house. The nonsense. And that's a TSG. Another time,
tell people what TSG is, please.
They are the kind of, they're called the territorial support group, and they are the thugs. I would term them the thugs of the Metropolitan Police. Whenever
they're the ones that are at carnival,
right? And what happens is simply whenever, don't get me wrong, whenever there's a degree of violence has happened or violent crime, like whether it's a murder, there's a stabbing, or there's potential violence in the area, they are brought in, they are invited in by the borough commander to come in and to be have a high visibility presence. But the shocking thing is just how they go about doing their business. For example, whereas if you got a local borough, a local PC, you call them constable, police officer, a local officer, he tend to know the terrain and the people that's there, right? He tend to know the guys that's involved, the guys that not involved, and he kind of builds up a rapport. The TSG don't business. And what they do, whenever they see anything that they think is suspicious, they don't come out like one or two people to make an inquiry to confirm or allay their suspicion. They come up mob-handed. And that is an intimidation. That's intimidatory. Okay?
And sorry, Ken. I'm going to cut you because there's so many things we want to be asking you. Can you let our audience know what is the situation regarding this little boy? Where are we at?
Yeah. Well, where we're at the moment, the IO, because let me tell you this much here.
Yes.
It's not ordinary that you find the IOPC would take up such a case. Mm-hmm. But because of our persistency and our knowledge, mm-hmm. we were able to get it into the hands of the IOPC. Because let me tell you, ordinarily, it goes into the hands of the police. They call it... come back to me anyway. It goes in the hands of police. We're investigating the police, right? And when you send it there, not one case has ever come through from the police standard, right? That's a professional police standard. Not one case has ever come true or win from that side, because they always side with the police, right? The wrongdoers, there's some of the wrongdoing that's going on. But we went to the IOPC and they took on the case. And as a consequence, 8 officers are facing possible investigation for misconduct. 7 for gross misconduct. That means that they can get sacked, and 1 for misconduct. Now, it's an idiot thing. It was avoidable, but these people were just there to kind of, violate the young boy there, because it's left him traumatized.
How old is he?
He was 16 at the time. He's now 17, but he's traumatized. He saw the police the other day. He'd jump off his bike and run home, leaving his bike. That's PTSD that he's suffering from. You understand? It has to stop. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for taking knives and guns off our streets, okay? But I'm not in for you to further traumatize our innocent young people. Not at all. Not on my watch.
Can I just ask, and we can reiterate this conversation when we come back off the break. But when a young person gets stopped, I'm assuming that the police they take records, so they're going to know if he or she gets stopped again, they're going to know that this particular person has been stopped and the reasons why they got stopped and the outcome. So is that process in play? Do they know? They're like a car. Like if a car has got a particular record, like for robbery or anything like that, doesn't matter where you drive it, it flags up on the APR. Is that the same for stop and search?
Not necessarily, because let me say this much, and this is why I want to impart the knowledge to your audience. You do not have to give your personal details over to the police. Your name, address, or date of birth, okay? On a stop and search. The only time you have to give that information over is if you get arrested and because they would want to know who they want to who they're interviewing before they can start that interview. So that's the only time I would advise your listeners that they need to give off their personal details. I'll tell you why. Because if you give off, yet you said, well, I've got nothing to hide, so I don't business. But let me tell you this much here. If you give off your personal details, it's kept on the police intelligence database for 7 years. Now, let me give you an example. So supposing someone got stabbed, I got stabbed say, outside a college, and you got stopped and searched. They will relate that stop and you give their personal detail. They will relate that stop and search to that stabbing, okay? Saying it was searched because a stabbing took place. Now, if 2 months later you get stopped and searched again because there was another stabbing or a violent incident, right? And then you give your name again, what will happen? It will come up on the police check that you're known to them. Even though you've not got no criminal past, criminal record, but you're known. What that might do is heighten that police suspicion, that individual police suspicion about you, thinking, is it that does lightning strike twice, or could this be something deeper? Do you understand? And just remember, you got what you call racial profiling, okay, and you got your prejudice. Whereas if it's a white boy, they might see it in a different light. But when it's a black youth, they say, nah, there's no smoke without fire. So I'm just putting it across to you. So it's not always possible for them to know in that situation, but they need to do their job right, and they need to do their job professionally.
But can I ask, because obviously, you know, I have a background in stop and search, but if you can, because there's parents listening and grandparents listening, you know, and parents listening to the show right now who have young people, whether they're boys or girls, what must a police officer tell that young person before stopping to search them? What should he actually tell them, or she?
You're right. They've got this acronym. The acronym is called Go Wisely, right? And I'll explain what Go Wisely mean. Go Wisely, G stands for the grounds, give you the legal grounds of why they're searching you. The O is the object. They have to be clear about what they're looking for and where they expect to find it on you. The W is if they're not in uniform, like you got undercover police, it's a warrant card. They've got to show you their warrant card. Okay. The S is the station they're attached to. The station they're attached to. The E is that your entitlement to a stop and search slip. The L is what law they're using. So they might use in Section 23, the Misuse of Drugs Act, Section 1, the PACE Act for knives. And the Y is that you are being detained for a search. Beyond all that, there's one other thing that they need to do. What the police must do, when they're doing the encounter, they must be mindful about how that encounter may impact on the person being searched. So they must come up with something called, they must explain, make an appropriate introduction, explain what is going to happen during the encounter, the stop and search encounter. Ensure the officer must obtain agreement and understanding and the corporation of the person being stopped and searched. But, you know, he tries to, but even if you say no, they're still going to search you. The R, the officer must provide a search receipt or let you know where you can get one. And the reassure, the officer must make a positive departure. Okay, so these are the things that they must encompass along with Go Wisely. So that's a professionalism to encompass that stop and search. But sometimes when you see it go viral, you see the police run up on you, dash him to the ground, or first of all, put him in handcuffs without explaining anything. These are all illegal stops and search because they haven't gone through their own procedure of Go Wisely and explain, ensure, record, and reassure. Okay, they haven't done all that. You understand? If they haven't, it's not legal. Let me put it out there.
Why do you think that just speaking from the Met perspective, that statistically, majority of stops and searches don't even end up with a weapon being found? So why do you think that the Met Police still continue this rhetoric, even though that they go by statistics? It is likely that most young men or people they stop haven't got a weapon. Why do they still go in hard?
Let me make it absolutely clear. Stop and search is not generally used for finding weapon. It's got a poor statistical outcome because less than 1% of their stop and search leads to a weapon or subscription being found. And let me just tell you, that's less than 1%. So people said when they find like say 400 knives, for example, or weapons in a month. Now you got the 32 boroughs, 400. That equates to one weapon per week per borough. Do you understand? One weapon per week per borough. And if you are doing something on the whole, like in Haringey, they're doing something around about 600 stops and search. Okay, that means 599 people aren't having a weapon on them. Do you understand? But let me tell you something. What stop and search do first? Why it gets it so wrong? First of all, it came out of a racist law called the sus law. Okay, and the simple fact that when it came out of a racist law, it's not surprising that 50 years later, from 1984 to where we are today, that you're still finding that if you're black, you're disproportionately more likely to be stopped and searched than your white counterpart. Okay, so it's not surprising that we still got that. Now, what I'm saying to you, what happens is that 7%, if I take the Haringey figures of their stops and search, and the Met generally is roughly close to that, 70% of stop and search is under the Misuse of Drugs Act. Okay, and I would say about 80% of that is round about the smell of cannabis. Okay. Now, again, do you think that's a great use of public resources, scarce resources, for the police to spend all that time trying to get people fitted up or give them a criminal record because they've got a drug habit, because they got a weed, right? And don't forget, let me just make it clear, that very few are found with weed because you know, if I smoke a spliff around you and you go outside, it's going to be on you. But doesn't mean that you got weed on you. Do you understand? If you go like the skunk nowadays, you can smell that like it come like back in the days, like the Indian smoke signal that go for miles, right? That's how the skunk smell now. So if you sit on a bus and the man have got a skunk in the back pocket and he sit down in the chair and he get up and you go and sit in that chair, you might smell a skunk too. And if this police dog sniff you, and then indicate that you have, then you get searched as well. So come on, my thing is simply they need to do it a better way. Let me tell you this much here. Also, I must make this clear that when they do find their weapons, it's usually by community intelligence. That someone ringing up and say, you know what, I see that man there, or no, that man there is carrying a weapon, and his mindset, it isn't right. I would need you to go and do something about that. Okay, that's called community intelligence, not on a stopping for them for drugs and hopefully you're thinking you're going to find something else on them. That's called a fishing expedition, right?
Well, that's community intelligence. Community intelligence, that sounds like a grass to me. It's like a snitch.
Yeah.
No, listen, let's not get it twisted. You can only be a snitch if you are part of the criminal enterprise. So me and you, Quincy said, well, you know what, Ken? I carry my weapon here because I see that man over there, him violate me. So I've got to protect myself. So if I'm part of that and say, yeah, Quincy, you know what? Cool, man. I've got your back. So if you get arrested now, and I shouldn't be saying that, because if I grass you up now, I'm part of that. I'm a snitch. But if I'm from the community and I see Quincy with a knife, and you look at me and say, what? What are you gonna do, blood? Right? Listen, and I go back and I ring the police. I'm not a snitch. I'm called a stitch. I'm stitching the community. I'm safeguarding my community, because why should I allow you with your emotional trauma and your volatility to go out there and go and harm one of my people in my village? Are you mad? It's not happening. But
this is why people like yourself, as you've got it on your chest, Street Fathers and other organizations, we should be having things, because I do believe that we should be policing our own communities. Yes, work with the police, but there should be focal points where members of the police go to the elders or people within that community and say, I can sort, before you guys get involved, I can sort this. And before I bring in Denise, I just want to say, the young man who you're representing, just how much are the police or organizations looking after his mental health? Because for the number of times he has been stopped, like you mentioned, that has created anxiety, PTSD, that has created an emotion in him that has an effect on young people. Yeah. So I just recently, I don't know if you've seen it, just recently saw a rapper in Chicago being shot in front of his children. That's going to leave an effect. So do the police, from your experience, take into consideration that the mental anguish suffered to young people when they stop them and how they stop them?
Are you mad? They're the perpetrator. Do you understand? So all they're gonna do is that they've got one of the strongest union. The police call the Police Federation. The bar is set so high. I think it'd be quicker, it'd be easier to get to the moon than to reach the bar. How high it's set through the Police Federation. They fight tooth and nail for every officer. Okay, so the narrative that always come out like if the victim is at fault, because they said, the way that the police narrative always come out, misleading. Okay, so they don't even acknowledge the harm they are doing because they don't care. You got to look at this simply. It's all about economics. They may spend, for example, 100 million on youth services, right? But they're spending 7 billion on the prison system, supporting the prison criminal justice system. So if they're spending 7 billion on locking people like me and you up, and 100 million on trying to say we're doing something, don't listen to the word, follow the money. And you'll see they need to have people like us overrepresented in jail. Okay, so let's not get it twisted. So just to answer your question, no, they don't care about the emotional effects. But let me tell you something, that when these things happen, and you say PTSD, when this emotional trauma happen, it generally stays in your head for life. Do you understand? Unlike the physical aspect, you get punch in the eye, you get black eye, it tends to heal. The physical scars heal, but the emotional damage continue for a lifetime. We just got to look at people like Michael Jackson, Amy Winehouse, Prince, who never dealt with their trauma, and look what happened to them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, Britney Spears, isn't it? Go on, Denise.
Yeah. So just to say, I mean, that's some important points you've raised there. So we have, of course, the high numbers of young people. And I remember one of the questions when we attended when Mark Rowley did that thing, the police in the community program. What was that called? Quincy. Where they met the community. That one, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I had to go to every borough in London.
Yeah, I went to 3 of those.
And I went to 2, and I didn't get any feedback. But that was one of the questions I asked, because when I was chairing Brent, that was always my concern. What actually happens, especially when the young person is found not guilty? What do you actually do with that young person in terms of their mental health? And I've always known there's been no support at all. I think a couple of occasions in Brent, there was a big argument because they said they directed them to victim support if you feel you need to have that conversation. So in our community, there are groups, and if there's anybody listening, there are groups out there that actually can support young people who've gone through that sort of trauma within our community. And I'd like them to present themselves and probably come on the show, on this platform, and talk about the things that they can do. Because as Ken said, it's not going to come from the Met. They're not interested. But we have to look at the long-term impact it's having on our community, on our communities. So if there are people out there that can assist, please get in touch so we can share that information, because the statistics are not good. And the PTSD, as you talk about, Ken, well, I know it, we've seen it, and we know how serious it is. And like you said, you use yourself as an example. One bad stop in the sus days, it can turn you the wrong direction because there's no outlet, there's nowhere for you to actually go and actually tell people the real impact that's had on you. So it's a good point.
Can I just say something about Street Fathers? I've got to give them a shout out because they do some great work on the ground. Because we go on all these different hotspot areas, wherever on a state as well, and we engage with the young people that we see there. Not only engage, but we safeguard them. We had people say, you know what? When you see your men rock up, we know we're in a good place. I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to watch each cars passing by because I know you guys will step in and safeguard us. Okay. Now, personally, what I would also say is that we also give the man, when we do find him with a knife, we give him the option. You either give up the knife to us, or you give it up to the police. Because when you give it up to us, we're going to give you a strong talking to. And you know what I mean? And that way you can go on your way without the knife. You know what I'm saying? But if you get up to the police, it's going to be a different thing altogether. So, but you give them the option, but they haven't got option to walk away with that knife. Not on our watch. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah,
what I've listened and heard what you're saying, that you are, as a Street Fathers and as a team, you engage with young people. And do you know what the saddest thing for me is? You're engaging with young people. That these young people have come from homes. These young people are in environments. So how much does Street Fathers, and like you just mentioned, the young man you're representing, or you're in touch with the fact you grew up with his grandmother. So there is a community, family kind of spirit. You know what I mean? He can go to various people. How much of these young people are from homes whose parents, I would use the words without any disrespect, are not representing and doing the right thing?
Listen, we got look, I'm not here to cast any judgment or aspersion on any parent, because I know how difficult it is, because I've got children myself. But say this much to you, is that, let me tell you much. What I do see is, particularly single parents, I'm not saying in every case, but it's more likely can happen, is that when you're trying to bring up a boy child, it's much more difficult, because that boy child at some stage will think that he has to step up and be the man in the house, right? And he's got no reference of what that man in the house looked like. Now, if the mother is, turns a blind eye and not go and hold that youngster to account by going and not just hearing what he says, because he's got his home face and his street face is what can cause a problem. If the mother don't go in the bedroom and search it for herself to make sure that he ain't bringing any foolishness into here, right? She's going to be complicit to what happens from there. It's not going to be surprising. The outcome generally don't bode well. But my thing is, I've seen so many desperate mothers reach out to people like me to come in, and people like Farron Paul, who called Faz, who comes to take the knife. I ring up Farron. I said, Farron, listen, we need you, man. We've got this Rambo you need to come and take from his house here. And he'll come in and he will take these knives from the house and dispose of them in a safe way, right? He takes up between 8 and 9 knives a week, where the police only take 1 or 2 a week. Do you hear when you break it down? But the fact is, when we take it away, we have a conversation with the youngster, and they're less likely to want to arm themselves again. Unlike when the police take it away from the youngsters. Let me hear this, man. Let's get this clear. If you're under 18 and the police catch you with a sword or Rambo, you are going to get a slap on the wrist. Not once, not twice, but maybe 3-4 times while you're still under 18. Okay? Do you know what that does? That emboldens other young people to say, "Rare, I can do the same thing." This is why, like back in my days, when I used to walk with a knife, it'd be a lock knife or flick knife, something I can hide quite easily. Nowadays, how can you hide a Rambo? How can you hide a sword? Come on. But I remember back in not too long ago, well, maybe 10, 15 years ago, when people walk with those sort of dangerous weapons, they'll be there to scare you. Nowadays, they're there to murder you. That's the difference.
Just because we're running out of time now, just one quick question before we. Can you tell me, in terms of the government, what do you think the government needs to be doing in terms of our young people, Ken?
There's no one size fits all, but I think what the government needs to be implementing in the school is not so much of the physical aspect of sport and exercising, but growing the self-esteem, right? Growing the emotional intelligence, because we're all damaged goods. We're all damaged, whether you like to admit it or not. We all got damaged goods, but some of us has got tools to deal with the fallout more effectively than others. Others don't have no tools, and because what we build at the moment, I can speak for the men, strong body men with weak minds. So that when you get exams and you got other things, emotional things that hits them, you know, they can fall by the wayside, and they may get addiction, drugs, alcohol, violence, whatever it may be. But what the government can do is ensure that all the school has a program about building the toughness of the young people and the resilience of young people, to let them know it's okay to show your vulnerability. It's okay to, you know, to then ask for support and do that. At the moment, we don't have that. That's a crucial thing. The other thing they can do is have people like myself come in and have that real talk with the young people about safeguarding and about what that looks like, and about rights and responsibility around stop and search. Do you understand? I do it for the police. I'm an academy, and they don't like me in there, but I'm not there to be. I used to tell them, I used to fling bricks and bottles at them. Now I'm flinging confetti. I said, what's going on? I must need counseling. Okay, so I'm saying I need to get into wider schools to put that message across. That's only I can.
One second, ladies and gentlemen, can you just have another 5 minutes before we go on our next guest? Because we're going to come off the FM right now, 99.8, because there's a couple of people who have requested any details from yourself. A lady called Carol, so she's asked how can she contact you and your organisation. So any details you can give out, and I will pass that on, Denise as well. But I just want to ask this question, and for those in the FM, come across now. What did you think about Idris Elba bringing a light to the banning of Rambo knives? What did you think about that particular campaign amongst others?
Listen, I welcome anybody and everybody who's in the public eye that could bring a light to a situation that is getting further out of hand. And the fact is, this can be stopped almost overnight. Okay, like where I'm living in Haringey, you've got a £1 billion stadium called Tottenham Hotspur. Just 100 yards away from Tottenham Hotspur, you've got Northumberland Park Lane, where you've got serious violence that's been happening for, if not 20 odd years. Do you understand? Now, I know if Tottenham wanted to stop that, they can invite all the different sides into Tottenham and give them hope. Do you understand? They can squash it if they wanted to, right? But it's not in their interest, right? What's in their interest is gentrification. Have them men lock up or move out somewhere else. It's not their problem, right?
100%. You can't have someone like, I mean, as I said, you can't, but that stadium was built literally not just for football. You've had Beyonce there. You know what I'm saying? And I know. I mean, before Beyonce got there, they cleaned up the area. They literally got some of them, the youths, them. So you know, when Harry and William, they come to an area, any no troublemakers, they get them out. So it's like what you said, Ken, 100% is, if you can't have I've seen that stadium with Tottenham. It's amazing. And then across the road, you've had frigging Gaza happen for the last 20-something years over there. That don't make no sense to me. And I do believe this. I think it's everything's a tick box. I think Daniel Levy, this is no blemish on Tottenham as a club, but Daniel Levy, when you are that rich, you have a responsibility to not just give a man a job, but that money could have gone into building something in Newfoundland, but in those areas down the road at the farm. So I mean, so yeah, that's
finish up Idris. Idris came to light through Farron Paul. Farron Paul is the real man. He's the man on the ground. Idris is just a face. Idris can't do what Farron do. Farron get the physical knives. Idris can get the platform to highlight the things. So what Idris needs to do is keep tight with Farron, because you know what? That youth there is a masterful somebody. Trust me.
And you know what? And on that note, I'd be very surprised and I'd like to know how much support the government or the police give Farron Paul. People like Farron.
None. They ostracize him, because I've had to represent Farron Paul plenty of time when the police arrest him. You know, harass him. I've gone on patrol with Farron Paul and see the knives. And when we go and give it to the police, see the police look at us. Whoa! What are you doing? Hands up. I said, all right, don't shoot. And plus, don't kneel on my goddamn neck. It's don't shoot.
Right, lastly, have you got any details? Dennis, is any how can people contact you? Because I've got a couple of texts here.
Look, I've just got to give up my number. You know, they can contact me. I'm on the street nearby them. If there's a trouble, I'm there. Okay, or I can be there. But you can also call me on the 07977 494 814.
Okay, carry on. I'm just going to see if I can just put that.
07977 494 814. Look, again, like Farron, we're ostracized. That's why I had to step down as chair of Haringey Stop and Search Monitoring Group, because but I stayed on there. I'm staying on there as an executive, because they closed doors on me. Do you understand? But so we've got somebody there who's a face that they feel that they can. The borough commander having all cozy chats and all kind of foolishness. She will never ring me and tell me any kind of stupidness, because I ain't got time for that. You hear what I'm saying? So we sometimes have to work strategically, and it's not about who is probably in the leadership. It's about the quality of work that you do. Because you know what? People will always seek me out because of my heart, and I'm not getting paid for these things here. But you know what? I may not have the resource, but I'm very resourceful.
Yeah.
My people.
Well, thanks. So we put the number in the chat. A lady contacted us on here a couple of weeks ago. Did she contact you?
Yes. Oh, yes, she did.
Well,
yes.
The lady who came on the show, and we had a chat with her. I had a chat with her after the show, and she's very interested. So I'm glad that actually works. So, folks,
yes, we're working that through.
Brilliant. So Ken is a great person to contact, especially if you want to understand more about Stop and Search and help to teach our young people to understand what they can do from what they can't do.
Look at this book here. See this book here? Can you see the title here?
Yeah. Oh, Dwayne wrote that. Yes. Yes.
Dwayne, they've got full mention there. That's the book that everybody should have in their home. Do you understand? And it's only £7. Make an investment. It's not poor leap team there. I bought 10 already, right? In support of it. You need to have that, right? Every parent, so they can advise not only their children but their children friend too about how to go about dealing with it. Because I didn't deal with it when I was a youngster. I didn't deal with it right. I just come with more violence. Every time it's a riot, I'd be down there. You understand? That ain't the way forward. That's working to their strength. What they can't deal with is an intelligent, constructive black man. They fear them more than an aggressive black man. They can deal with that all day long. Use baton, use spray, use taser, use handcuff, yes, and use their jail. Don't you be a fool or sucker for them. Fix up. Come right.
We'll talk. All right, Ken, thanks a lot, my friend. We'll be in touch, definitely. We get you back on this platform as much as we can, and to keep these conversations, keep them going. And it'd be great to talk to people who have experienced potential PTSD, so our viewers and audience, they can hear it firsthand. Because I know you did even touch where it sent you and where it sent someone like myself. After we didn't have those opportunities, but young people and families need to know. There's people like you, Farron Paul, you know what I mean, and various other people they can reach out to, and the opportunities there. There are people, we are a community, and there are people you can reach out to. So look, on that note, thanks very much, and we'll be in touch, man.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, man. Take care.
Respect.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the 99.8. That was Mr. Ken Hinds. How long you done, Ken?